So again, there are websites. I'll give you one good example of how there is a website called as the Traditional Knowledge Digital Library. Now this TKDL, as it is called, this was created out of, it was created by again a government initiative by the CSIR laboratories to capture medical information written in our manuscripts. And these manuscripts and this content was then used for fighting patent wars at the international level. For example, there was a few years ago, there was an attempt to kind of take a patent on neem and the use of basil or tulsi. And the content from this website, we call it as biopiracy. So this traditional knowledge which was cited on this website was used to fight the court battles in the international courts. So this is one example how traditional knowledge is being used to kind of claim what is yours. Another website I had mentioned previously was the National Mission for Manuscripts. Okay, you can even consult that. They have manuscripts in all classical Indian languages. We have in Sanskrit, Prakrit, Ardhamati also, and other dialectical scripts over there. Huge collection there. If you're looking for specific traditional knowledge, it is also because in India we have these kinds of rare books, manuscripts over and above the libraries. They are also housed in temples also. So we call them as temple libraries. They are kept with them only. They have a lot of texts. If you're researching religious texts, you will find that they are housed over there. Some of the biggest and the oldest of these library, one is in the south. It's called as the Saraswati Mahal Library, Tanjore. Very huge. It has more than 10,000 manuscripts. Pondicherry has one of them. Pondicherry is famous for its medical manuscripts. So some of that content, the manuscript content, the NMM will give you a listing of which manuscript centers are there. In Gujarat, we have some very big manuscript centers which are in Ahmedabad. One of them is the LD Institute of Indology, which is the headquarters of manuscripts here in Gujarat. Along with that, we also have manuscripts or traditional knowledge repositories in Patan. There is a study here, and they also have some of them. So these are just some few places where I have told you that you can look at them. Museums are another place where you will get, and they are coming out with National Museum. You will find it has a whole page dedicated to knowledge, Indian knowledge systems. Those are three-dimensional objects, so they can be sources of obviously Indian knowledge. Um, these are just few examples I could share with you. Should I start?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So this place, yeah, the Harry Ransom Center has some of the first copies of handwritten manuscripts. I'm just finding out, I mean, just on the screen is basically a list of how the Browning family, Robert Browning family gave all their manuscripts here. The collection is the Bronte family, all the sisters and the brother, everything that they wrote, the first handwritten copies, you can actually just open them and start looking at their handwritten scripts over here. They're quite interesting. You just need, even Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Sherlock Holmes, if you're familiar with that. His original writings are here, so this center is interesting. Yeah, this is just what is part of their collection to give you a look. They have 2 boxes full, and now what they have written down, the last statement is important, access open for research. So they have made it open. You don't need to go there to actually look at it. You can just go through the boxes, but you will have to go through the catalog to identify what you want because there's a lot of content there, lots of things written there. This is just an indication of, there are letters, the Browning letters, the Bronte family papers, photographs, and a lot of other things. Okay, again from the same Harry Ransom Center. This is at the University of Texas actually. The center is over there, and they have done this whole digitization, and the works were donated to them by these particular families. So they are there. Over and above the catalogs, the finding aids, what it can be very useful for a lot of researchers, especially the PhD students, is something that we call as a research guide. Many libraries all over the world now are preparing special guides. You know, in olden times we used to call them as bibliographies, basically, just a list of very specific information that you're looking for. And these guides have been created for by libraries for research scholars for open use. You can just have a look at it. I pulled up one screen to just show you that they have created, this is from a university in the US called University of Illinois. 15 guides created on different subjects. You can see cultural heritage of South Asia, or there are different Hindi language, Hinduism, there are so many such. Even if you go and look up IIT Delhi, IIT Gandhinagar, they have all created such. They are either called as subject guides. You go on their website and you just put into Google or even ChatGPT if you want, take me to the library guide or the subject guide from IIT Gandhinagar. It will at least share the URL with you, right? So, and these can be really wonderful because they have done micro level of searching for you. आपका आधा काम तो इन्होंने कर लिया है. Now, this is again from the Library of Congress. If you're looking for very old, searching for old novels, they have a whole guide prepared for that. Guide to finding novels, stories, and poetry. That is the guide that has been created. Similarly, for this is what they have created for. I'm just showing you. They have created how many guides they have created for language and literature. There are 72 guides. Every guide will have a specific title. Like one of them was finding novels, right? You can just click on it and the whole list will come up. This is free to use. Similarly, I just took, when I expanded the 72, there's a long list which came up. And for example, if you are researching the Renaissance period, they have a whole guide for Renaissance material. You can just, I just expand my screen to show to you. There's a guide for that. Okay, then what will this guide have? It will have links to resources, titles of books, titles of journals, encyclopedias. Everything that is on Renaissance would be in one place for you. Whatever your area is. Sometimes they're also very specific. They might even have a guide only on Hamlet, everything. This is from the, let me see, this is again from the British Library, and they have also created such guides. See, on their main site, they put something like this: explore our catalogs or go to our research guides. Okay, catalog is very general, but research guide is very, very specific. So therefore, for a researcher, this would be more useful. This is what I got when I clicked on the research guides. And I just wanted to show you this screen. See here they are saying e-resources, discover freely available e-resources even without a login. You don't even need a login to go and explore these resources. And they have done a curated list. When I have used the word curated, they have kind of gone through it, selected the right kind of links for you and made them available for you. So I put it up. University of Oxford has also created them, and they call them as Oxford LibGuides. So you can actually just put into ChatGPT or Google, searching for LibGuides, your area, subject guides, your area, and whichever library has prepared something like this, it will pull it up and show it to you. Coming to, of course, using the academic search engines, maybe I should have replaced this with AI and ChatGPT, but old school. So yeah, instead of Google, we recommend that if you have to use a search engine, many times we find that the students don't even understand the difference between a browser and a search engine. But I won't get into that. But using a search engine, especially those which have been developed for searching academic scholarly material, Google Scholar is one of them. Okay, it will only show you scholarly content which has been published. There are many such academic search engines. I've only put up 4 of them. These are all again free. One of them is Google Scholar. You can customize Google Scholar so that for your 3-4 years of research area, anything that is new that is published in your area, if you create an alert, it will tell you that something new has come up there. Okay, you get it into your inbox Gmail that so and so new material has come into our Google Scholar database on the area in which you have created an alert. Okay, so you can do that. To the right, we have the Microsoft Academic Search on the top. Another very good source for scholarly information. RefSeek is one, okay, and then there is Semantic Scholar. Semantic Scholar is essentially the one, it is an early precursor to the AI searching that we are using. Many of the researchers are familiar with certain tools like Elicit and they are used for literature review. They are using Semantic Scholar as their base for, so they were the first ones to start AI-powered searching, and when they use the word semantic, meaningful searches, that is, you get more appropriate and accurate searches. So it is always advisable that you know about the academic search engines and you make it an effort to only use academic search engines following your academic searches, not general search engines. They will just waste your time. More, of course, there are more of these search engines. If you're looking for just open access research papers, you can use something called a score. It has a huge corpus of research papers in the humanities. Similarly, there's this search engine which has been created from from a university in Germany, and the Biosphère University. Again, you can actually use this for only searching open access content. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff out there. JURN, another search engine, which is powered by Google only, but they have a focus on almost a directory of 3,000 arts and humanities journals which are indexed in JURN. So yes, it can be quite overwhelming. There's a lot of content out there. If you're looking for archival archives in your country, there's also a whole map which has been created. You just put India and it will tell you where are all these archives and where are these digitized archives also. So archive grid is another one. The final part of my this presentation is basically just taking you through some of these digital collections again. If you're researching children's literature, that's some of them are interested, and children's literature is a genre. There is a whole library which has been created. We have content here in many Indian languages. International Children's Digital Library, it is called. It has been hosted by the University of Maryland, and is again free for researchers. And they have many features for those who are interested in doing research on children's literature, okay, in different languages. I'll just skip through a few of them. Yeah, this is a website from the Stanford University, which is one of the Ivy Leagues in US. Also has a huge open access collection, and this was just a screenshot that I took, that you could actually go there and search for their content from their collection and download whatever you think is interesting for you. So yeah, many a times, Internet Archive, I always find it to be one of the biggest achievements, just on at par with Wikipedia, as Mihir mentioned. That what an attempt somebody is trying to do is archive the whole internet. Many a times, some of us would have come across error 404, page not found. Kitni baar aata hai, page not found. I don't think even ChatGPT can help us there. But what these people have done is, for the last 10, 15 years, they've been trying to archive the whole web. Again, a non-governmental initiative, and many libraries all over the world have joined hands here. And what they've done is, even those pages which are no longer found, they don't exist anymore. You can actually go and look up Google जब पहली बार आया तो उसका screen कैसा दिख रहा था. You can go here, which is called as Wayback Machine, and look up the page. It will show you what it looked like. It can show you content which was there 20 years ago but not here, if they would have archived it. So it will tell you, if you put a URL and it is coming up as 404 to you, you come and paste that URL here, it will show you that it has archived it on this date, this year, and you can just open it and look at the page as it looked back then. A lot of content here actually, and the corpus of content that they have. Huge varieties of content, and again provided by so many different associations from all over the world have come together. This is from there only. This is a whole collection for those of you who are interested in researching comics, right? Comics as a genre. There is a whole website dedicated to comics from all of us to all of you, and they have comics from all over the world. This is just one. I also found that I was mentioning to you how research guides and guides are created. This particular library, they come every year to India and they purchase all our comics and they take them there, they're digitizing them. Okay, and I found even very old comics, South Asian comics over there, Mandrake, Phantom, whatnot, everything they have. They have comics which are published in multiple Indian languages. Their collections are over there. If nothing else, you at least get to know what are the titles in one place. I mean, you may be researching the comics here in India, but at least the titles you'll get from over there. It's part of the South Asian comic collection, which is housed in the University of Illinois Library. That is the where they have kind of hosted it. same guys, if you're researching anime or manga, if some of you are interested in the manga comics or the manga genre, I knew that there were people who were researching it, and for them, I had found this. They were from the literature center. Somebody had come in with a request. Therefore, I had hunted it down for them, and I thought I would just share it with you. So there is a whole LibGuide even for that genre. Um, some of these other online connections which we have is from the Royal. So other than the libraries, the archives, the institutional repositories, there are these societies which have been formed globally. You have, this is the Royal Society and their website and their collection. They have Thomas Manning collection. They have a lot of other works over there. Okay, and similarly in India, we have the Asiatic Society Mumbai. They have a huge collection. We have Asiatic Society Mumbai. We have it in Kolkata also. So their collections, of course, you need to have a subscription that is not freely available. You can pay this much, and discounts are available. They have digitized a lot of the content, and I know a lot of literature scholars who have actually visited them and looked for 19th century materials. Especially if you're looking for older material, it becomes difficult, and they have a very good collection. Uh, this is, if you are using images for your research, photographs for your research, there are some databases. Wikimedia also has one very big database of Creative Commons licenses, photographs. We have one of the biggest repositories of such photographs and images are the Getty images. Licensed content, many researchers, I'm aware that speaking to a colleague from Central University Gujarat, whose scholar is using photographs for researching the effects of war, I think. But then the student is from literature, I remember. So uh, that was interesting for me to know that they are using them. And similarly, Library of Congress, a lot of these British libraries, if you go to their catalog, they will have a separate one for photographs, prints, and drawings. So you can just go and look. If your need is specifically to photographs, you can just go and have a look over there. There is another archive which has been created. It's called the SADA archive. It's a South Asian American Digital Archive. They have also curated collections and collections of content by the diaspora located in different parts of the world. So there is content there. Digital South Asia Library, content which has been created from, uh, again, it is part of the SADA only, and they have made it available. I'm just quickly surfing through these. The South Asia Open Archives, you can search by, as you can see here, language Bengali, Hindi, Kannada, Gujarati, Odia, and other content. If you are researching cinema, I we did this when one of our students, we were researching Satyajit Ray's works, and it was the centenary year, and we were trying to find the films of Satyajit Ray online. We wanted the full, and we thought that the National Film Archives would be useful for us, but we couldn't find the full films on the National Film Archives website. And we could actually locate all of the films by Satyajit Ray on this website. And Jadavpur University, in collaboration with other organizations, have created a media lab, and they have essentially it's called IndianCine.ma, and there is a lot of Malayalam cinema, Indian cinema. If you're using cinema as a research aid point, other than IMDb, which is of course a global website, but it's not very India focused. Whereas here you have a lot of India collection. Another website, OXDB, with a lot of Indian cinema files here. If you are researching, of course, again, another website for media. If you're working with media, that is images, films, sound recordings, because a lot of content nowadays is being created in the digital format, as in like I have come across books which don't even have a print or an ebook version. They're just audiobooks. So if that is going to be your area of research, you need to go and know where they are actually housed in. So Library of Congress also has a whole catalog of audio books. Okay, or if you're looking at books which are braille content, they have a lot of content over there. Digitized newspaper collections, as I told you, some libraries have taken this initiative, like the British Library, Library of Congress, and the National Library of Australia. They have digitized the first newspaper ever printed there. Till date, everything is digitized, made available. National Library of India has also started this process. It will take them some time. But as I mentioned, some of our newspapers during the British rule, those papers are found in the British Library collection. So the Google has a whole website dedicated to Google News. You can find some very old newspapers from 1800s that are made available freely. Digitized newspapers are available here. This is the screenshot of the Google newspaper collection. Finally, the final part. A lot of I've come across that in literature, digital humanities is an upcoming area. A lot of work is happening there, and in our area, it is we find that already somebody has collected a lot of data for their research. It's become a mandate in the sciences that you deposit your data along with your research if you have been funded by ICSSR or any such body. And so there is a whole policy for data repository, and I came across that even in the humanities, there are repositories where researchers from the humanities have deposited their data on these websites. So a new researcher can take the existing data because they were given the permissions and repurpose that data for your own research questions and objectives instead of going and starting afresh. So these kinds of, the humanities data which are located are in the form of images. They found also music, poetry, short stories, and more. One of the biggest websites which is there for data is Isidore. Okay, it is in humanities and social sciences. It is open for teachers, researchers, students. You can just download the data there. They're just like the library has a catalog, even these people have a catalog for data. So they will say what is the name of the data, what kind of data is it? Is it textual, numerical, images, what kind of data? You can download the data and your research question can come out of it. That is what is people are doing it. So this is another website called as Ray3. It's one of the biggest data repositories in the world. And they have humanities data center if anybody is interested in looking at it. Another one which has been created as a data repository is by Harvard called as Dataverse. So there will be scientific data, there is humanities data, there is social science data. Even Government of India has come out with opendata.gov.in. That's census data and those other kind of data. So there's a lot of data as we live in a data-driven world. There's a lot of data and humanities data. This is how it would look like if you were to download this data. See, this is just the name of the data repository. What kind of data they have mentioned here? The data is literary studies, and the data has come from which project. Where will you get this data? How will you find it? What kind of content type is there? All that is there. One would have to just sit and explore this a little bit. And similarly, the MIT people have also created a guide for digital humanities, researching digital humanities. If that is your area of research, which are the tools you can use? They also have tutorials for learning those tools to work with text mining using different software. And so you have, they would even have the digital humanities quarterly in the journal. And the different kind of journals are listed here, but you can see on the top, they have tools and resource recommendations, trainings. So these libguides can be very, very useful for any researcher. And when I say anybody, it can be a doctoral scholar, faculty. I myself use these libguides in our subject a lot. Coming to the conclusion part of mine, I will share this PPT with the coordinator, and it can be shared with you students. Researchers are using so many different ways and means, especially when it comes to right from uh, discovering your area of research, or writing about it, or publishing, outreaching, assessment. You may be using so many different tools. Many of them are using tools like Zendeley or Mendeley and Zotero for just referencing, but then they can become your tools for searching for content also. So there are many such tools. I have only essentially through this presentation only given you a glimpse of what is out there. As I mentioned earlier also, that it's quite overwhelming. I'm not saying that you go through everything. Maybe at a master's level you might not want to go through so much, but at the doctoral level, yes, you would benefit a lot by knowing about these sites and taking time to explore. You don't have to go through, as I just said, you just put into ChatGPT, it will put up a list of all the libguides in your area of research, and then you can just start visiting each and every libguide or go through the catalogs of these websites also. As well, if you're working on, of course, archives, that's slightly difficult, archival content. So I said you go to IIM Ahmedabad, they have put up a list of the archives all over India. Another institution which is working in archives in India is called as Milli Foundation. It is located at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and they are also hosting every year International Archives Week, which is open for everybody to attend who is working in the area of archives. I remember that from CUG, the Center for English, many people along with us, we keep on attending these, so I know that archival content is a research area for, and they have um, also got a website where they put up their old presentations. They have YouTube channels dedicated to archives, and all those lectures and the last 5 years of these international archives week are uploaded on the YouTube channel, free for everybody to see. And you can come to know about the different archives which are there, literary archives also in India. There are many more which are people who are basically, even the farmers movement has been archived over there. There are people who have archived many other areas, of work. Cuisine has been archived, and it is on their website. It's called as the Milli Foundation archive link. So with that, I will bring my presentation to an end, and I hope I was able to share some bit of thing. Thank you for patiently listening to me.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ignorance is bliss. So in research, when you think that you know everything, there is no problem. But when you start understanding that you don't know many things, the problem starts. And I'm sure today that is what has happened. Isn't it? Right. The session is open for questions. If any, I won't say if any because there will be many questions.
Most of the times people go speechless after this.
I know. I thought I knew many things, but I'm sorry. Yes.
Ma'am, you have mastered this art of researching things, websites. So as you said that someone recently told you to give a website about manga or comics, whatever it was. So how do we do that? You have given two approaches for researching purpose. That is to look for library, and the second one is offline, online, and that. So how do we find that? Like we generally use Google or Chrome to find about anything. So what should be the approach properly? So I have not understood that two approaches that you have to research.
Thank you for this question. It's a very honest question, and I appreciate your question very much. Yeah, as a common user, as you said, you are using Google or you are using maybe ChatGPT or whichever. I would still say you can use that as your approach to issues. But if you are a scholar, a doctoral scholar, I would, or even if you're or master students trying to work on a dissertation and assignment, be very specific in how what you are searching for and where you are going to for searching, right? So when I mentioned that if it is for an assignment or is it for a research proposal writing, use academic search engines, use your library. Go and first step, go and check in your library, do you have any databases which are in your area? Okay, if the library says yes, we have, go and consult those. Then you find that after consulting all of that, you have not found much or your library does not subscribe to it. You go and look up the catalogs of the other libraries which are available online. I showed you some examples like Indicat. Okay, I showed you examples like WorldCat. So your searching has to be very specific, it has to be very focused and pinpointed. You cannot be doing a general search on Google for what you're looking for. Okay, so you can go and find out the catalogs, go and search these catalogs, some of them I mentioned here. Then what you can do is, if you don't even want to do that, you can just use Google to identify those websites. Like I said, you could just put LibGuide, library guide, and then your area. Or you can just shorten it to LibGuide and your area of research. Change those terminologies. Don't keep on using the same terminologies. Like LibGuide you used, it is also called as a research guide, also called as a subject guide. Put that phrase in your search, then add your topic, whatever topic you're looking for. That will bring up the links to these websites. Once you go to that website, start looking through everything. Okay, it is a time consuming process. It doesn't happen easily. And there is no just one there is no one place or one point of contact where you get everything. You will have to have a conscious effort to, when I said in the beginning, primary, secondary, tertiary, you need to make a conscious effort to see that you have actually gone and looked at everything. Keep a logbook of everything that you're searching. Keep a logbook of also all the search terms that you have used. You may have used once library guide, then make a note, okay, I went and searched this on Google Scholar or Google. I also tell my students to go and keep on changing the search engines. Don't use the same search engine. But this is an effort you need to do. Another thing that you can also do is enroll for searching programs. Google has a free workshop on how to search. Okay, it's like maybe a 6-hour program. One is basic searching and advanced searching. This will give you an idea that how important the keywords are when you start searching. Okay, when I say keywords, those are the words you are using to put into your search term, right? Because language is funny, please mind my mistake. There are going to be synonyms to everything. You can't expect that the search engine will understand everything that you are saying, right? Now, with the help of AI, it's getting smarter and smarter. I put cricket, it understands, maybe it will show me cricket as an insect, cricket as a sport, whatever. But you as a student need to make a conscious effort to have this process. Once you start executing one or two of these, you'll become quite good at it, right? But yes, go to the library first, पूरा छांट डालो जो भी है नहीं है उसके बाद आगे बढ़ो. Go and look up online all the catalogs, everything, these IndCat, WorldCat. Do not hesitate that if I'm sitting in India, मैं कहीं और से नहीं मांग सकता. You can easily get it. People write, people give it to you. Even authors give you things. If you find a good article on ResearchGate, you write to them, they will send it to you. आप उनको लिखिए कि मुझे ये आर्टिकल अच्छा लग रहा है. I would like the full text. You write to them, they will give the paper to you. And this is an approach you have to be very proactive when you're searching. Document everything because searching is a quite a laborious task. Even to do this, it has taken me a long time to come to this stage. The sites that I showed you, there might be 100 sites which I actually discarded, which I did not find to my. We have a set of criteria every time we are shortlisting a site which we would recommend to somebody. And we do look for kahan se aa raha hai, which kind of website is it? Is it a .com, .org, .gov? .org is always preferred over .com. That kind of domain name का भी हम एक थोड़ा knowledge रखते हैं. Where am I going to, because there would be a bias and a purpose behind every piece of information that you are taking online. So I hope I have been able to answer to some of your doubt.
Ma'am, if you can please talk about the clone journals and how they have to be aware of the same.
That's a very pressing question. I know that in the last few years, the UGC care list journals kept on changing dynamically. So one of the things about cloned journals, what we are finding is that they will have the exact look and feel of an actual journal. The way to identify clone journals are, one is that many of the faculty might have actually experienced it. You keep on getting invitations to publish with them. Not just journals, we have conferences also like that. We also use another word called as predatory for them. One is they are approaching you and you are not approaching them. Second is they will be asking for charges from you. We call them as article processing charges. But that is not the case. Even sometimes good publishers like Elsevier also are asking for these charges. But clone journals, you need to go and check any name of the journal, how much ever famous it is. Go and check into the Scopus list that I shared with you. If it is an international journal and the Web of Science, at least that much information is freely available. Always go and look up the website. The problem with any digital information is it is so easy to copy, edit, manipulate. So it's very difficult for a common user to even figure out that what they are saying is how fake it is and how true it is. So yeah, verify. Now if the journal is from like in a language which is not English, then it becomes very, very difficult, right? We used to rely on the UGC care list in India, but over a period of time, we also found that a lot of journals made it to the list which were not actually up to the mark, but they were in that list. And then, therefore, we call that list as a dynamic list, which kept on changing. Journals were being added, journals were being removed. So you need to at least go and verify whether the journal you are referring to or planning to submit your paper to is present in any of these three leading lists. One is your own country's list, or otherwise Scopus has now become one of the uh, most, for especially social sciences and humanities, to check up the, because it will give you the website address of the journal, everything about the journal, periodicity and everything, especially in the social sciences and humanities. That is what we are, and we personally always do that, because otherwise it's very difficult. But then that doesn't mean, I have come across journals which are not in Scopus, because we also say that publishing is quite a political process. Sometimes good journals don't make it to the list. But most of the times you look at the editorial board, their affiliations. That means that your library can always help you in identifying, because it's a heavy task. If there is a doubt about a certain journal, that means you'll have to go all the way to the editorial board members and check their affiliations. Sometimes there are journals which have been published, especially in the sciences, where even the people in the editorial board, big names are listed there and they have no idea their names are there. These are examples of these clone journals. Most of these clone journals which we have found have the exact same website page. Their ISSN number will be very wrong. They can't take that. Every journal has an international standard serial number, and that number has a registry. It can only be given to one journal, and the clone website may have the journal, but it will not be there listed on the ISSN website. So in India, we have one central agency for giving every journal an ISSN number to give it that recognition. That is basically headquartered in Delhi, and the agency is called as NISCARE. On the NISCARE website, all the journals from India who have an ISSN are listed over there. So at least Indian journals we can go and verify over there. With the international journals, we can go and check within Scopus, within Web of Science. There is one very big directory of journals called as the Oldrich Directory of Journals. Earlier it used to come in print, now it is also online. It has a global list of journals. So ISSN number is one of the best ways. For authors, of course, the ORCID ID has now become one of the prerequisites to go and verify their work. I hope that helps.
One more question, if anyone has. I have many questions. Yes, Sergio.
Is research is solely dedicated to social media, and if something is to be taken from social media, then how to verify that?
That's a tough one. I myself, my own research area was the blogs.
Blogs.
So I know it was a challenge, especially it's not that difficult, because any content on the social media would have been your job as a researcher would be first to identify who has written it. If the content is written by somebody who is not making their name known, affiliation known, you may have to question it. I'm not saying discard it completely, but you might require further investigation. So first check the authority of the person who has written the content, whether it is an Insta post or a tweet or a blog or any kind of such content. Right. Check out, because people are using hashtags, people are using not even the real names right here. So somewhere as a researcher you would need to identify. Then if you're still not able to identify, you still need to go take that content and you want to research that content. That's going to be the limitation of your research. Right? The limitation of social media research is also there, that it's there today and it's not there tomorrow. You start researching certain content which was online, by the time you submit, it's become 404 error. Right? Again, it's a limitation which I experienced when I was researching blogs. You need to write to the people whom you are, because you just because it's online doesn't mean it's free for you to use. That's something that it's a conscious ethical awareness that should be there for you as a researcher. Look for the license statement before you start using it. Just because उन्होंने online कर दिया इसका मतलब ये नहीं है that it is open and free for you to use. See what kind of statement, license statement उन्होंने दिया है या नहीं, bottom of the page में. Somewhere. If it is a blog also, they will write down the license statement like Wikipedia does. No, clear statement at the bottom, Creative Commons, you are allowed to use it, share alike, SA, CC BY, NCSA. Lot of blogs, lot of Insta posts. So somewhere in the about part or by the author, go and check it out. So social media research, there are some very good books which are actually there for ethical practices on social media research. And the biggest challenge is basically verifying the accuracy of the content that you're taking. So there are many investigative tools which are there. There are websites which are dedicated to fake websites. You would have to go and verify that. You should at least know that these are the websites. Depending on which social media platform you're researching, whether it is Insta, whether it is Twitter, or whatever you're taking, you will have to verify that. And there are some good media literacy tools which have been created even by journalism. I mean, they are into identifying fake websites, so there are many lists which are created. You could go and check up over there. But that conscious effort would have to be taken.
And as you are handling the library, the right now the feature is a norms, 10%. And I'm sure with artificial intelligence, in future there will be norms for AI also, right? So how they have to be careful in terms of using AI, and what are the hazards of using AI?
What I have found, I mean, right now, as you said, yeah, it's 10% in our country, and
That is plagiarism.
that's plagiarism.
But
That's the
right now
difference
we
between
don't have norms.
similarity and
Yeah,
plagiarism.
right now we don't have norms for AI.
We don't have policy statements for AI, but if the university is subscribing to these tools like Turnitin or right, it has a component for AI detection,
Yeah.
right? What we have done at our university right now, at least in our, I am with the School of Information Science, is our tool is able to detect at least the AI.
Yeah.
And
Even drill bit it
drill bit detects.
Yeah.
So it has to be under the 10%. Currently, we are going by the policy
Okay,
statements.
you are going by that.
By the policy statement, because there is no separate statement which has come. So overall, we are looking at anything under 10% till they come out with a national level overdue
Plagiarism
statement.
and AI both.
Yeah, both.
Okay, ma'am. We'll conclude the session. Thank you very much. It was very interesting. And I'm sure we will eat this session as dessert before lunch. Thank you. It was pleasure listening to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.